All right, let's dive into Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo.
Ooh, a classic.
It's a real treat. And we've got some great stuff to work with today. You guys sent us the December 3rd, 1957 draft of the script.
Wow, going back in time.
I know, right? Plus, Vertigo's IMDb page. We're going to unpack this story, make it clear and fun.
And I bet we'll see how Hitchcock sets up all those twists and turns that make Vertigo so famous.
Exactly. So we start with John Scottie Ferguson, our main guy, played by the one and only James Stewart. Now, Scottie's retired detective.
Oh, retired already.
Yep, dealing with some serious acrophobia, fear of heights. It all stems from this awful incident, watching a fellow cop fall during a rooftop chase. We see him right away, back brace, corset and all. Really shows you the impact of that trauma.
Makes sense. The guy's shaken. That vulnerability must play into the whole obsession thing, right? I mean, that's Vertigo in a nutshell.
Totally. Thank goodness for Midge, his close friend, Marjorie Midge Wood, to be exact, played by Barbara Bel Geddes. She's a successful artist and super worried about Scottie.
Always good to have a friend like that.
Absolutely. There's even this scene where she's trying to help him get over his fear, using a footstool and stepladder. Kind of lighthearted.
But underneath it all, it kind of shows how much he relies on her, maybe even holds him back a bit. I mean, it's good she's there, but is it helping him truly face his fears? This dependence thing, it pops up again, especially with Madeline.
Oh yeah, Madeline.
Ah,
That's where things get really interesting.
yeah.
Scottie gets this visit from Gavin Elster,
Elster, that name rings a bell.
played by Tom Helmore. Wealthy businessman, old college buddy. Elster has this unusual request.
Let me guess. It involves this Madeline.
Bingo. He wants Scottie to follow her, his wife. Elster's convinced she's possessed by her great-grandmother's spirit, Carlotta Valdez, a woman with a dark past.
Hold on, possessed? Is that for real, or is there something else going on?
That's the hook, right? Keeps you guessing. At first, Scottie's hesitant, especially with his acrophobia, but he ends up taking the job.
That takes guts.
And as he tails Madeline all over San Francisco, Hitchcock gives us these stunning visuals. Art galleries, historical spots, even the haunting beauty of Muir Woods. The whole film takes on this dreamlike feel, and Scottie, he's getting pulled deeper and deeper into her world.
It's like he's losing himself in it. The visuals mirroring his obsession, reality, and illusion starting to blur.
Yeah, and just when he might pull back, something happens. He rescues Madeline from drowning in the bay. Talk about a pivotal moment. Their connection intensifies.
And probably his obsession, too, right?
No doubt. They spend more time together digging into those Carlotta Valdez connections, feeding into that whole possession idea. And you know, Hitchcock, he keeps using these spirals visually. That staircase in the bell tower, Madeline's hair, even the camera movement.
It's like a visual metaphor pulling Scottie down deeper into his obsession.
Exactly. And it all leads to the Mission San Juan Bautista. Madeline, seemingly in a trance, bolts up the bell tower. Scottie's fear kicks in. He can't follow. She gets to the top, and she falls. Devastating. Scottie's left completely shattered, drowning in guilt.
That scene, it's like everything comes crashing down. Obsession, manipulation, the past, it all collides.
And just when you think you've got it figured out, here comes another twist. Scottie sees a woman who looks just like Madeline. He becomes fixated on transforming her.
Wait, another Madeline? Who is this new woman?
Her name's Judy Barton. He wants to make her into his perfect image of Madeline. Clothes, hairstyle, everything.
It's like he's trying to recreate what he lost. But why? Is it grief? Control? It gets deep, doesn't it? This whole idea of male fantasy, possession.
It really does. And then, boom, the bigger reveal. Judy is Madeline. She was acting in this twisted plot by Gavin Elster to murder his real wife and stage a suicide. He used Scottie's vertigo against him.
Whoa, mind blown. So Elster was pulling the strings all along.
Judy, she confesses everything in a letter. Heartbroken, full of guilt.
It makes you question everyone's motives, the whole idea of truth, how easily we can be tricked.
Totally. And the ending, it's chilling. Scottie, facing the truth, forces Judy back to that bell tower. She panics, falls again. We're left with this unsettling feeling. What happens to Scottie? Did he beat his vertigo? Or are the ghosts of his past still there? Hitchcock doesn't give us easy answers.
And that's what makes it stick with you. Vertigo, it's a film that makes you think about obsession, the illusions we create, the power of trauma. This is just the beginning. There's so much more to unpack.
You got that right.
Back again, diving deeper into Vertigo. You know what really adds to the film's power? The way Hitchcock uses color.
Oh yeah, color plays a huge role. Speaking of which, I was looking back at Vertigo's IMDb page, and did you know it was one of the first movies to use computer graphics in the opening titles? Designed by Saul Bass, no less.
Oh, wow, those swirling shapes, I can practically see them. Lots of reds and greens, right?
You got it. Sets the mood instantly. Disorienting, uneasy, even a bit of foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, definitely. And green, that's tied to Madeline all through the film. Think about it, the green dress, her car, even that strange green light at the McKittrick Hotel.
It's like green becomes this symbol of her mysterious, alluring, kind of dangerous.
It pulls Scottie in, but there's a darkness there, too.
And speaking of dark and dangerous, the McKittrick Hotel itself, it's like its own character. Creepy, old, full of shadows.
Totally. The script describes it perfectly. Frozen in time, stuffed with antiques. It embodies that weight of the past, history pressing down on the present.
It's almost like a mirror of Scottie's mind, reality, and illusion all mixed up. And don't forget those spirals Hitchcock keeps using. The bell tower staircase, Madeline's hair, the camera work.
The spiral, it's visual, but it's also Scottie's mental state. That downward spiral of obsession can't break free.
Yeah.
And, back then in San Francisco, spirals were big in art and architecture, represented life and death, past and present, all tied together.
Wow, that's fascinating.
That-
It adds another layer to the whole reincarnation theme, how the past haunts the present.
Exactly. And think about how Elster presents that whole possession story to Scottie. Is it real or is he making it up? It's deliberately unclear.
He's a good storyteller.
The script plays with that ambiguity. Elster never actually saw possession, just stories, legends. Makes you wonder, is Scottie choosing to believe it? Does it fulfill some need in him? To be the hero, maybe.
Right, like he needs a purpose, a reason to push past his fear. And that kind of leads us to that whole male savior thing.
Oh yeah, the script definitely touches on that. On the surface, he wants to save Madeline, but underneath, it's more about possessing her, controlling her image, especially with Judy later on.
He's so focused on recreating Madeline, he misses the real woman Judy standing right there. Her pain, her own story, he's blind to it.
It's tragic, and it speaks to that bigger theme, the male gaze, how women are often viewed in film, just objects to be admired and controlled.
It's like he doesn't see Madeline or Judy as people with their own thoughts and desires.
And it's not just Scottie. Elster's manipulating women, too. Using Judy in his scheme, taking advantage of her feelings for Scottie.
Makes you think about the power dynamics between men and women. Was Hitchcock making a statement about gender roles, societal expectations?
It's definitely a theme that's still relevant today. Gender equality, representation, it's all part of the conversation. Vertigo goes beyond a simple thriller. It makes you think critically.
This deep dive has opened my eyes. It's not just suspense. It's about relationships, desire, the dark side of human nature.
And there's more to come. We're just getting started, especially as the second half of the film unfolds.
Welcome back to our deep dive on Vertigo. It's really amazing how this film, just through the script, tackles so many things. Obsession, identity, memory, even time,
Hitchcock was a master, that's for sure. Taking a story about a detective and a beautiful woman and turning it into this deep psychological journey.
Yeah, and he does it so well, using everything, even the city itself. San Francisco, it's not just a setting, it's almost a character.
Totally. San Francisco in the 50s, it was changing so much. Caught between its past and future, you can feel it.
And all those places Scottie goes with, Madeline, Mission Dolores, the Palace Legion of Honor, Muir Woods, they're all connected to that past, to history.
It's like Scottie's drawn to those places because they feel safe, familiar, maybe simpler times.
Like he's trying to escape the present, the uncertainty of it all. Just like San Francisco itself, struggling with its own identity.
Makes sense. But the past always has a way of catching up, doesn't it?
It always does. And that's what makes the ending so powerful. Scottie has to face the truth, the reality he's been running from. His perfect image of Madeline, it's shattered.
And he has to deal with the choices he made, no escaping it.
It's a dark ending, but it feels right, given everything that happens. We can't just run from our past or the things we've done.
And that ending, the way it's written, it's intentionally open-ended. What happens to Scottie after Judy falls? Does he finally beat his vertigo? Or is he stuck with those memories, those stares?
Does he heal? Or is he going to keep repeating the same mistakes? Hitchcock doesn't tell us. He makes us think about it, decide for ourselves.
That's what makes Vertigo so thought-provoking. It sticks with you long after the movie's over. It makes you ask questions.
It really does. And that's the power of a great script, like the one we've been talking about. It sparks something in you, makes you see things differently, leaves you wanting more.
Exactly. We've uncovered a lot in this deep dive, haven't we? The plot, the characters, the symbolism. Vertigo is full of it.
We've seen how Hitchcock uses the script to create this world of suspense, of psychological twists and turns, a world where you can't always trust what you see.
If you haven't seen Vertigo, you're missing out. It's one of those films that gets better with each viewing. You notice something new every time.
Absolutely. And even if you've seen it before, watch it again with fresh eyes. Pay attention to those details, the dialogue, the way Hitchcock uses the camera. You might be surprised at what you discover.
You really might.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Vertigo. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep diving deep into the world of film.